This next session is titled The Message Triangle. At the Alliance, we love the message triangle because it's some sort of magic tool. Once you understand the concept and structure of a message triangle and you use it to develop your message, you are good to go. You will never again need to develop another message, unless, of course, new information comes up. And the good thing with using the message triangle is that you're not going to develop a message at every engagement that you're being invited to. At the end of this session, there are two outcomes that we are looking for. One, we would like for you to understand what a message triangle is and to actually develop your own message triangle. I have mentioned earlier the purpose of a message triangle, but to ensure that everyone or you are saying the same thing everywhere. Whether you've written a story for the website, or you're being interviewed by a journalist, or you're putting up a post on Facebook or Twitter, your message is always the same. So the message triangle has three sides to it. Obviously, it's a triangle. It has message 1, 2, and 3. But in the middle of the triangle, there is always the core message. And that core message is usually the goal of why you are communicating. And then you build all the other three messages around the goal to support it. Just to remind you, the goal or your core message should never change. It doesn't matter whom you're talking with or where you're talking from. Your goal should never change. For the three messages, or what we call the proofs, the messages that buffer your goal, that give detail and meaning to your goal, these messages of course change and they can vary. You can use specific facts, statistics, personal experiences, or quotes from experts, depending on whatever it is that you're talking about. Just to make it a little bit clearer, I would like to use Lina Tripathi's example. When Lina is communicating about the work that she's doing in gene editing, Lina's core message as she's communicating is to regulate genome-edited products as products of conventional breeding. And the three messages that she used to give detail or evidence or support to her goals would be the challenge, what's at risk, and a solution or call to action. But as you're speaking about the challenge, let's now talk about the challenge that Lina and her team are addressing through her work. They are telling us that bananas are attacked by several pests and diseases, but especially the banana streak virus. And so she's using the tools of genetic engineering to come up with a banana that is resistant to this disease. So what is at risk? Let's say you're a policy maker and Lina has come to ask that you regulate the products of gene editing as conventional breeding, and you're asking her, if I don't do that, what will happen? Then she can tell you what is at risk. If we do not get a policy in place that regulates genome editing products like the products of conventional breeding, one, poverty will increase because then farmers will continue to lose income from yield loss. Secondly, food insecurity will increase. Why? Because when plant pests and diseases continue unabated, they will continue to lead to 40% of yield loss on farmer plantations. And thirdly, it will stifle innovation. Scientists will be discouraged from innovating if their work is not going to reach the beneficiaries. If you're going to spend 10 years in the lab developing a product, and then there is a policy roadblock telling you we don't want your product to reach the intended beneficiary, then of course you lose heart, okay? And finally, a call to action. As Lina is speaking on whatever platform, she will have to make a call to action, which is science-based policies which treat genome-edited products as similar to those that are conventionally bred. You may notice that your call to action is actually your goal framed in a different way. One thing to remember about communication or using the message triangle, always have a call to action. After you have spoken to a policymaker, please always make an ask of them. That ask that will enable you to achieve your goal. If it's primary school children and you just wanted to share with them the awe of science, make an ask of them. Ask them to go home and do something, whatever it is. Always make sure that you make an ask of your audience. So to recap the three messages that make up the message triangle, your first message can be the challenge that your science is addressing. The second message can be about what is at risk if the status quo doesn't change, and finally, the call to action. What do you want your audience to do for you?